real quick here, PBN, P.O. Box 194, Dexter, Michigan, 48130. PBN, P.O. Box 194, Dexter, Michigan, 48130. Send a self-addressed stamped envelope if you want more info. Real quick, Alex, PM 8-94, How to Start and Train a Militia Unit. This has been put together to help people speed the process up. Make copies, generate them, drop them everywhere. It is PM 8-94. The cost is $5 per unit plus 6 stamps in postage. Any combination of stamps, I don't care. The stamps will be used. Old stamps, new stamps, whatever you got. Penny stamps are fine. PM 8-94, How to Start and Train a Militia Unit. If you're going to use a check or money order, make it out to Nancy Koernke, Koernke. That's Nancy Koernke, Koernke. The other manual that is one of several that are being generated is PM 10, which is, of course, Militia Standard Operating Procedure. This allows you to create a standard procedure for the individual, the fire team, and the squad.
And this way it can be cellular and in cells across the country, but have the basic command structure and to have unified upstanding rules.
Can always come together. The building blocks of an army are the individual, the fire team of 5 or 6 men, and the squad, which can be 10 or 12 men. If you understand those basic components, it makes no difference. You can bring them together in any combination, and they can work within their elements and then work as a larger formation.
By the way, Mark, let me just say this now. Let's set you up right now for an hour and a half next week and just do militia, how to not be infiltrated, how to form. Look at your book. Let's do it right now like we did last week. What time do you want to come on next week?
Oh, fully up to you. Whatever you lead, Alex. It's up to you.
Trey was working Sunday, so he just left. Let's shoot for next Wednesday at 12 noon. That way it's a different time. Next Wednesday at 12 noon. Is that good?
That'd be fine.
That's 12 noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Okie doke. Very good.
All right, 1 p.m. Eastern your time. Absolutely, Mark. And fire out your website again.
And if you'd like to, we can also check out our videos at YouTube. These are training videos, but there's also to show you what's being done around the country, people. Go to libertytreeradio.4mg.com. Again, that's libertytreeradio.4mg.com. Or you can go to YouTube and just punch in Liberty Tree Radio to watch the video.
Or Mark Koernke and see America in Peril and all your other films. Now I want to take a few calls before you guys leave, because I'm in the show in about 15, 20 minutes, if that isn't too long for you guys. But I know my uncle woke me up. Well, I had already read some books and knew something about it, but before I ever found you, Mark, and others in the early 90s, I would say, I love Rush Limbaugh. And he'd say, oh, you need to learn about the New World Order, and then he'd explain it to me, and I already knew quite a bit about it. I just didn't realize how big it was or how much in force it was. I'd already read None Dare Call a Conspiracy when I was like 15 or 16, maybe even younger. And then I read Mein Kampf and other, history books just to understand things. I read Gibbon's Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire, Shearer's Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. But it's just neat to have my uncle, who's a really knowledgeable guy, on with Mark Koernke. But I know he likes you too, Mark. You want to say hi to Mark, Uncle Biff there?
Yes, I've been a fan of Mark since I guess he was ever on shortwave. And I do have a request, Mark. When you come on Alex's show next week, if you feel comfortable, I'd like to hear you lay out some of how you went through your incarceration and didn't just come out the same man or a worse man, but came out a better man. I think we need to hear that if you're comfortable with that.
I can do that, yes. I will say that it, part of what, first of all, not part, the foundation is this. Understand that we must have full strength and we must follow the guiding light of our Lord Jesus Christ, period. If you do not have that as an anchor, then everything else becomes much more difficult, or in some cases, for some people, impossible. But because of that, if we understand that we are in a war, and this war will last the whole length of our lives, as long as we understand we're in that war, and that we have that rod, that strength to stand with, then nothing, absolutely nothing can defeat us. And our enemy, there is no doubt in my mind, people, our enemy knows this fully.
Well, I want to be clear for everybody, too. They're not going away. I mean, folks, I'm not trying to play it safe here. They're criminals. They're coming. There's nothing we can do. I'm committed. People, they're not just going to run some corruption like Argentina or something. They plan to kill tens of millions. They plan to overdo what they did in Russia and Germany. They have said it.
You know, Alex, really quick on this. The one thing I've been watching, do you know that you can tell who your enemies are amongst the people when you're talking in a public place, because they'll turn away, they look down, they'll try to look away, and they're the people who try to be a naysayer. But the problem is this, kind of like the old cowboys who used to tell you when they were there amongst the herd, when there was that dry crackling lightning in the sky, you could tell when the herd was thinking about stampeding. You know what I'm talking about? In other words, everybody knew. All of that group of livestock knew something was wrong, and then something was, as they say, in the wind, in the air. There are a lot of people that even if they're trying to sit in denial right now, you look at their eyes, they don't laugh. They might turn away, they might look down, but they don't turn away and not listen. Because everybody knows that what we are talking about is true, because they all in their subconscious have part of this formula. They have part of the math right now. They just aren't. The problem is this. To step forward and acknowledge is a big shelf to pull yourself up to. I don't consider it steps like a regular stairs. You have to physically reach up and pull yourself up to the next level, and as a responsible adult, acknowledge what you're looking at.
By the way, Mark, it's been confirmed. Hundreds of thousands, the CDC has ordered these coffin boxes, and they've got them at the Atlanta airport, and this is confirmed. Got the little newscast right here. It's up on Infowars.com. I mean, it's so obvious. Everybody's against the war, but they're going ahead with it. How do you expect to see this unfold, Mark? You think they're going to go ahead and hit Iran, and what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think Iran would be desperation, because as more and more things happen here, they're going to try to pull us away, but I don't think it's going to do them any good. I believe that they'll have to try for something inside the U.S. as a 1-2-3 punch. The problem is they know that everybody is looking for them. You know, we're taking to spirit the whole idea, oh, well, we're under attack. Yeah, I believe we're under attack. I believe that it's by traitors inside the system. So we know where to focus. We know how to look for them. We know what to watch for. And many men in uniform out there know the same thing. There are a whole bunch of men who were there for 9/11 who saw how America was betrayed through lack of action.
Well, I want to say to them, I mean, do you think you're going to be safe with a government that'll just kill 3,000 of us as a stunt, or kill 4,300 and something little kids, radiating them in the 40s? I mean, they do this all the time. And the point is, now they're getting ready to really run a Soviet mass murder op on us, and there's no doubting it. I have all these big former White House people on saying it. And, I mean, it isn't going to go away unless you stand up now. But I agree with you, Mark. They're shook up. Let me go back to my uncle. You're out there in the country, though, with a lot of, hillbillies and folks around you, and the problem is some areas they're awake, some areas they're not. They're not awake out there, and they don't know what's going on, and in some areas they do. But that's what's so sad, is that there's good men and women, they just don't know. That's why it's our job to get the word out to them any way we can, and they don't even know where the gas prices are coming from. Again, talking about Uncle William Hammond, where do you see this going?
Well, I always refer back to the Bible, and we are in the end times, and that's why the true patriots and the true Christians have a quickening in their spirit that they really must act and all do something, be it ever so humble. And one thing that everybody can do is, like Alan Stang, one of the founders and grandfathers of the movement, always said at the end of his radio show, arm yourselves.
Yes. Arm yourselves both physically and with truth. For again, who can stand before you with such tools and with righteousness before you? Righteousness standing is as your battle standard, because that's what we have to maintain. We have to be physically armed. In fact, you want to vote today. I've said this 100 times this last month and more. You want to vote and let them know what you're thinking? Take that pocket full of change you got that you saved up that's in your pocket, in the left pocket there, or in your little change purse. Take $1 and go into the hardware store and buy a 50-round box of .22 ammunition today to make a statement.
Well, the deal is they're going to gut the country fully, as we've always told you, to be financial, with terror and wars, every angle. And they need to have a war so you'll rally around them while they fully gut the country. And they need a police state so they can get away with all their crimes. And that is as Mark always says, that is a rearguard action. Their stage terror is desperation. And they're going to be defeated.
Alex?
Yes, sir.
Could I add one more thing about the rural areas?
Yes.
If history's any example, the Civil War in Bolshevik Russia took place from 1917 to 1919. And at that time, the white forces were defeated and the Bolsheviks were masters. However, Stalin took over, and it took him from 1919 till 1922 to subdue the cities. The countryside was pretty well on its own in terms of freedom between 1918 and 1922. So I think the same thing will repeat itself. There'll be such an effort and such a problem within the mass urban areas that the people in the urban areas, if they have half a brain cell, the people in the rural areas, if they have half a brain cell, will be able to see what's happening, know what's coming their way, and get ready, because there will be no denial by then.
And we got to look at the Alexander Solzhenitsyn quote. If they're trying to take you to camps,